Welcome to Make Shit Happen. My guest today is Mark Hernandez, the owner and founder of Mark Speaks. Mark, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing amazing, Sam. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come today, share some information, some insights on leadership and high performance, and help people make it happen today on your show.
Thank you so much, Mark. I gave a little introduction over here, but I want people to hear from you, from your mouth, exactly. And we were talking about some of the stuff that you shared with me, and I want my viewer and my audience to listen to that. So tell us, why don't you explain who is Mark Hernandez in your word? From the beginning, tell us a little bit about you.
Awesome. So, Mark Hernandez, I'm high energy and low IQ. Let me just put that out there. Hopefully on a Friday, everybody is not only a good Friday, make every day Friday.
Right.
I'm high energy and low IQ. So I like to keep stuff in the middle. I was told put the cookies in the middle shelf, and that's what I like to do. Make it simple so it can stick. So I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. I came to Texas as fast as I could. I don't say y'all, I say you guys. That's a Phoenix term. And so after that, I served in the military in the United States Navy for 4 years. I served during Desert Storm, Desert Shield, provide comfort, saw some amazing places, been to some amazing things, had the opportunity to, do some amazing stuff. Mm-hmm. Meet some pretty incredible people as well. And then I moved from the transition from that into the real world, what we call the real world, working people. I was married, had to get a job, pay the bills, just like many of us on the call. And I found a job. So they were hiring scaffold builders. Scaffold for the houses. For the houses, you build scaffolds. Now, if I could right here, just give a shout out to all the scaffold builders. And if you're listening and you don't have a clue what a scaffold builder is, Google it, brother. Google it. Because it's a hard, laborsome work that's essential for people to work on. And so I did that for like 7 years. And so I didn't have a clue at first what the heck a scaffold builder was. I just needed a job, just like many of us. We don't really know what the job entails. We just need a job. Mm-hmm. And so I got hired. And what's interesting is the supervisor one day, and so I started out as a helper. I could move. The military taught me to move. Fold your bed, move, left, right, all that good stuff. And so one day, getting material, and so there's a lot of signs that we use in scaffold building because you're way up on top and you're down here. You can't hear me from 50, 60 feet up in the air. Yeah. And so we use a lot of signs. And the supervisor saw me from afar, and he noticed, you see the train coming, huh? Yeah. He noticed I didn't have a clue what the heck these signs were. And he come beside me and said, "Hey, Mark, you never been a scaffold builder, huh?" He could have fired me right there.
Yeah.
Because I said I was a scaffold builder. But he said, "You know what? I like your hustle. I like your hustle." And he walked away. Whew. I was like, what? So he liked my hustle. Okay, so I got to put hustle with knowledge. That's something for somebody. Mm-hmm. See, just because you can hustle, you need to know how to hustle, when to hustle, and who to hustle with. Because if you can just hustle but not know how to hustle, you're gonna hustle and then end up maybe in the wrong destination. And so one day we're having lunch. Us Hispanics, Sam, we like to put our meals in the middle, and we like to share. You may bring tacos, I may bring enchiladas, and somebody bring the salsa. We all share. So one day we're having lunch
at a construction site.
In a tent, and we have our meals in the middle of the table. And there's this one man, we call him Don Oliver. Now, we gave him his name is Oliver. So when you put Don in front from a Hispanic perspective, that's respect. Mm-hmm. He was the maestro, the one person who has the knowledge, training, experience, and he can lead a crew to kick butt and take names.
Mm-hmm. He was a leader of the crew.
54 years old, man, beautiful hazel green eyes. He can outwork a 20-year-old. That's dude was bad. And so I reached over and I grabbed a taco, and Don Oliver looks at me. You know, again, this is probably like 6-7 years into building scaffolds with the company. He looks at me, he leans over and he says, Mark, in Spanish, Mark, ¿qué estás haciendo aquí? Mark, what are you doing here? The question went over my head and I said, please pass the salsa. See, when you don't know, things easily pass over your head, huh?
Yeah.
See, that's why you can't just have hustle. You have to have knowledge. And so I loved his intention. I love how he just kept on. He just say, dude, don't get it, and slammed him. Dude, don't understand what I'm trying to go. He just closed me off. Far too often we do that, you know, with individuals. They didn't get it. They don't know where I'm coming from, and I'm just going to close them off. Actually, you cap potential right there. But I loved his intention. And he leans over again. He says, Mark, ¿qué estás haciendo aquí? Mark, what are you doing here? But the last time, he leans over and he says, Mark, come here. Like a loving father, just come here. He didn't knock me upside the head and say, you dummy, you don't understand. No, just come here. And he would ask me a series of questions that are simple but powerful as I reflect now. This is 20 plus years ago.
Uh-huh.
And as I'm telling you, I'm getting chills right now because, again, the emotions goes back to the day he told me. So he asked the series of questions beginning, Mark, ¿qué estás haciendo aquí? Mark, what are you doing here? Eating lunch. See, Mark doesn't get it yet. Then he asked me, Mark, you were born here? Yes. You know English? Yes. You graduated? Yes. You went to the military? Yes. Mark doesn't have a clue what the heck Don Oliver is trying to do. And then he leans forward just a little bit more and says, come here. About this time, Sam, I could see his beautiful green eyes. And he says, Mark, ¿qué estás haciendo aquí? Este trabajo pa'l burro. Mark, what are you doing here? This job is for the donkey. Now, I'm just going to stop right there. As a Hispanic, bro, those are them like fighting words. What the heck are you doing here? You a donkey? You calling me a donkey? Now, why didn't anger rise up? Why didn't pride rise up? None of that didn't rise up because it was truth. It was truth. See, Don Oliver saw something in me that I didn't even see myself because I was familiar. I was comfortable after 7 years doing the same thing every single day, waking up like a robot, build scaffolds, build 5, tear down 2, build 5, tear down 3, every single day. Some of you listening, you may have gotten to the point where you're familiar, you're comfortable. And my challenge questions to you is, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Fast forward. I went to school. I had the amazing opportunity to serve and for 12 years for the U.S. Department of Labor, OSHA. I became an entrepreneur, speaker, co-authored 2 books, all because one individual one day took the time to see potential and ask the powerful question as a coach. He and all right, he could have said, you know what, after the first question, dude, don't get it, man. I'm just going to close you out. Forget you, Mark. Just like many of us do. He don't get it. What do? We close him out because we don't see value. I love what my mentor says. He says, place a 10 above the individual and hold that image. Hold that image. See, if even I said no the first time, the second time, the third time, he still saw me as a 10. Why? Because he saw value. You can't see potential, but you have to see value first. You have to see value first. I share that story because I am here as an entrepreneur, sitting across an individual, Sam, as an entrepreneur, making it happen.
Yeah.
Making it happen. All because Don Oliver, more than 20 plus years, saw potential in me when I didn't see it myself. And it's unfortunate that many times we become familiar. We become comfortable doing that every single day. But we even today, I saw earlier today on LinkedIn, hey, thank God it's Friday. happy day touchdown. But hey, dude, it's Monday. What are you doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? You know, I love what you have up here. Some people dream of success. Others make it happen. You have to make it happen every day, not one day. I love what John Wooden said. He said, when opportunity presents itself, it's too late to prepare.
Yeah.
It's too late.
If you're not prepared.
It's too late. So even if I could hustle hard, I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared. But that later that night, Sam, later that night, have you ever been told something, Sam, where something is truth, it just grabs you by the gut and just turns it? Just turns it.
Because it's the truth.
Because it's truth. You can't argue with it. You can't negate it. You can't disregard it. You have to accept it.
Yeah.
And it's the accepting it that broke me down that night. Turned over to my wife, shared the story, cried like a little kid. You know, and I'll say this, Don Albert, he used a term with me that only my grandmother used. He would call me Marquitos. It's a beautiful term. It's a term of endearment. So what was he doing? See, he just didn't come beside me one day on lunch and knock me upside the head. Hey, dude, what the heck are you doing here? He didn't do that. He invested in me. He invested in me because he saw potential, like this cup that I have in front of me, this styrofoam cup. It's got a little bit of coffee, but he saw potential. And what did he do? He began to pour. He began to pour. He began to pour. Pour some knowledge, pour some experience, pour some knowledge, pour some experience. And along the way, he's gaining my trust and my confidence. And that is how he could speak truth into me. See, far too often, we want to speak truth into a person's life without first investing in them. See, when he invested, I can then pay out. We every single one of us listening, you either have a bank account or you're a millionaire, bro, and then you need to call me, bro. And you want to return. You want to return. But guess what? When you invest in people, there's always a return.
Correct.
Because Maslow said the human potential, the human capacity is infinite. If I put a cap on this and you try to pour that water, it's not going to go nowhere because I capped it. Potential says, you capped me. But when we remove that and I see value in you, Sam, as an individual, that I see value. Oh, there's some freaking potential in there. You can make it happen, dude. You could be rough around the edges. I can sharpen that, dude.
Absolutely.
I can sharpen that. And so that's what he did. And I'm sitting across from you. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. But again, because one day, let me just ask this in the listener. How many of you had somebody come beside you and help you along the way? Help you understand, hey man, there's a freaking curve up there. Don't make that wrong curve.
Yeah.
In industry, we call those the tricks of the trade. And there's a lot of tricks in the trades in scaffold building. But unless you have somebody come beside you, you're doing the same things you've done before. You can't make it happen because you're doing what you know what you have done before, the previous. But when somebody comes beside you, it's information. I love that. It's information at the speed of access. It's just like reading a book. When you read a book, you're not reading the book. You're reading knowledge, training, experience it took for them to read the book, plus the years they have compilated over the time they have. You know, for example, my mentor, John Maxwell, 40 plus years. He's got like almost 80 books. 80 freaking books. So when you read a book, I love what he says. It's easy to read the book. It's hard to live out the principles in the book. See, we always want something easy, don't we?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Just easy way out.
Easy way out. I love what Zig Ziglar said. He said, success is uphill all the way. And guess what? There's room on the bottom, isn't there? There's plenty of people down here, bro. Because we're all down here. But there's room at the top. There's plenty of room at the top. It's like, how many people have ascended Mount St. Helen? There's only a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Only a couple. I love the story of Jordan Romero, 13-year-old. Looked across. His dad looked across him. We're talking about making it happen. He looked across him. And his dad one day said, let's go ascend Mount St. Helen. But do you think his dad just went up there, not thinking about the technical and what's needed, the oxygen, how long is it going to take? Do you think?
I don't know. Did he?
But it would be difficult to climb, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many of us would, I'm a parent. I don't know if you're a parent.
Yes.
Okay, do you have a son?
Yes.
Would you tell your son, hey, dude, let's go climb Mount St. Helen tomorrow? What would your son say?
They're like, you sure, Dad? Is it safe?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You really sure, Dad? It's high, man. It's high. See, the question, are you sure, comes from we haven't been there before.
Doubt.
Yeah. We haven't been there before. Because we haven't been there before, I'm not sure we can go there. But the father saw potential in Jordan at 13 years old. And guess what? You can Google Jordan Romero, and he's the youngest individual in history to ascend Mount Everest. Now, I'm talking to somebody because you're either sitting as a leader or an individual who feels like you're not going anywhere. And for the leader, there's individuals on your team who will crush it like nobody's business, but you got to see their potential. You got to see their potential. And for the individual who feels like you're stagnant, you're comfortable, I'm gonna tell you, hey brother, find a mentor. Find a mentor who's gonna say, hey dude, hey Sam, let's go make it happen. I see potential in you. I know you can do it, and this is how. And I love this picture of Jordan at the very top, because when you ascend the top, you don't just stand up there and it's like, dude, we've been here.
You're happy, ecstatic.
Now what? No, he's freaking grinning ear to ear, and we did it. See, that's the amazing. When we see potential, we invest in potential, and potential what? Makes it happen.
Yeah.
But we make it hard. We do as individuals. Far too often, the individual doesn't do it how we said we wanted them to do it, or they do it a different way. And guess what? The 10 becomes a 2. The 10 that we put above them becomes a 6. See, how you see people, you treat people. And the challenge for us today is make every day your Friday.
So let me ask you a question. So if you see somebody with a 10, and what if this person just keeps knocking it down themselves to a 2 or a 3? What happened?
So you got to ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? See, I flipped it, didn't I? We assume the individual's wrong. What if, let's just play this. You're the coach, I'm the running back. Mm-hmm. Would you fire me because on a Sunday I fumbled the ball twice?
No.
No. You're going to do what?
Talk to you.
I'm gonna come beside you.
Mm-hmm.
See, not like in hierarchy, I'm gonna come in front of you and point the finger. I'm gonna come beside you. And I think what's easy for many of us, for the individual who's keep doing it wrong, is, hey, what is Mark not doing right to help elevate potential? And I love your question and your scenario, because here is where I'm gonna bring in some powerful, what I call performance prompts to help that individual. Mm-hmm. Let's just say you're the coach. I'm messing up. I fumbled. Okay, you come beside me because you've done it before. But see, if you come in front of me, my brain says, "Here he comes again," and I don't even hear you, bro. I like you, but I don't hear you. You know what I'm saying? I don't. But if you come beside me, I'm ready for you to come beside me. You follow me? Because you've done it before. The brain says he's going to coach you. He's not going to tell you. He's going to coach you. So here's 3 powerful prompts or 3 powerful questions for us as leaders to help that individual that just is not getting it. We want them to make it happen, but they're not making it happen. The first question is this. Who did you come here to win for today? See, that question is no longer I. See, Mark is messing up.
Mm-hmm.
I mess up. We pay for it, don't we?
Yeah.
See, I have to shift that from me to we. I have to think of we. And in high performance habits, Brendan Burchard calls that raising necessity. See, there's a level of necessity that has to elevate. See, you're not playing at your A game. Who are you here to win for today? Who? Your mother, your father, whoever. Second question. On a scale of 1 to 5, what level of A game are you playing at right now? See, that's a gut check. Mm-hmm. See, that's not me telling you, hey, dude, you're playing at a 5 because, hey, you've been hearing you're not playing at a 5. You got to do what? Self-reflection. And you got to be honest and ask yourself, hey, am I playing at a 5? And let's just say, you ask me, and I respond as a 3. Last question. Does the people and you and your response to number 1 deserve a 3? Does your supervisor, does your mother, does your father deserve a 3? See, what does that do? So what that does is challenge the individual to level up. See, the coach's sole responsibility is steward potential.
So I mean, if you come to work for your kids or your wife or your family, then you ask him on number 3rd question that are you doing them justice?
Are you doing them justice? And what's powerful about that is in the book High Performance Habits, Brendan did almost 5 years of research on this, and the top 3 percentile. And this habit, it's interesting because you wouldn't think raise necessity is a habit, but it is. It's something you do internally, not externally, huh?
I love that because I did a video one time and I said, a lot of time people make that excuses. They say that, man, I don't want to work. I'm already killing myself for them. And I said, them is not the company you're working for. Them is not the team you're working with. Them is your family.
Yes.
People you care about.
Yes.
So this speaks a lot, because I'd never heard Brendan Burchard talk about that, but that's what I had talked about earlier. And it's the truth.
It's the truth.
Because when people go to work, they're going to work for either the people that they love or for themselves.
Absolutely.
Or the people they have to care about.
Yes.
And if you don't care about yourself, or you don't care about your real tight inner circle, like your kids, your family, your mother, your father, then what are you doing?
What are you doing? And so it's powerful because how you frame that question, how you framed it right there is exactly, it's raised necessity. And when I read the book for the first time, I came across raised necessity and that habit, and it doesn't sound like a habit, but again, he did the research and he found even the top 3 percentile. You're talking, he talked about this 200-yard dash, 100-meter yard dash Olympic athlete, and he asked them these questions, and they were all different athletes, and he responded, his mother. So Brendan said, so he went and he was coaching them. He was not performing well. He almost lost his place and the ability to perform with the U.S. team. So Brendan came beside, and as he was doing this research, he asked a question. So he said this. He said, when you're looking across, don't see the finish line. See your mom. Something inside you shifted. See, raise necessity. There's some people say necessity is a deadline. No. See, when we make it happen, it's internal for us to create excellence. It's internal for us to know that, hey, what we're doing today matters, and because it matters, I have to give you my best. Yeah. That's basically what bring your A game and having them go through that question of 1 to 5. Because I'll be honest, Sam, before I hit a stage or before I give a talk, I too do this. Initially, I didn't, but then I told myself, how can I tell people to do this if, Mark, you're not doing it?
Absolutely.
See, again, self-reflection. And so every single time I ask myself, who, and what level? And sometimes I'm a 3. I'll be honest, I'm always not at a 5. And so what do? I close my eyes and I see the group. I see my family. And guess what it does? Emotionally, it begins to elevate, doesn't it? It begins to elevate, because right now, if we were to ask everybody in the room for you to close your eyes and picture the person that you admire or love the most, and what emotions begins to come up, you're not going to say fear, doubt. No. And that's what raising necessity does. It helps us perform at a level higher than what's not only expected, but others know we can do, and we can make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So what got you, let's talk about from Don Oliver talking about it, and then you going to work. What got you in the leadership realm?
At the time, I was working for OSHA, and I did a lot of presentations.
So let's talk about it. Let me take a little step further. Let's talk about it. And I'm not trying to cut you off, but what happened after Don Oliver told you? You came home, talked to your wife. What happened after that? I really want to know that. And I'm sure people who are listening to it want to know.
I honestly asked myself, what the heck am I doing here? Because if I know English, all those questions was yes. I had to ask myself, what am I doing here? So I told myself, hey, I need to go to school. Because if I know it to be truth and live false, it's not living congruent, right? It's not living in alignment with where I want to be or making it happen. So I after that, I went to school. Still going to school, and I had an opportunity to work for the U.S. Department of Labor, OSHA, and then I launched my career as an entrepreneur in Mark Speaks.
So was it always called Mark Speaks?
It was called at one time Force Multiplier.
Force Multiplier.
Force Multiplier.
What
So
is
those, that's right. For those listeners, that's a military term.
Force multiplier.
Force multiplier. For example, if you have an individual digging a ditch and you have a backhoe, the backhoe is a force multiplier because it takes...
Because it's more. It does more than a person.
It creates more productivity in less time and less efficiency, things of that nature. So during lunch, one of the John Maxwell team members, he asked me, he said, hey, Mark, I love that. He was Army, and nothing against Army. And he asked me, so, Mark, tell me what force multiplier is. I knew what it was. He knew it because he was in the military. And he said this. He said, Mark, remember this in marketing. Confused minds say no. Mm-hmm. So I had to go back and rebrand. And it's been...
Let's talk about confused minds say no.
Yes.
I kind of understand that, but explain that a little bit.
So confused minds say no from a marketing perspective, or anybody that provides a service or product. If somebody has to ask why or what, you've already lost them. You've already lost them. So it's got to be clear from the beginning what you do, what you provide, so that your services is not blurred, is not distorted. It's very clear. From a service perspective or product perspective, what you're trying to achieve to your customer or customer base.
So the name, the message, got to be very clear.
The brand,
yeah.
Everything.
In business and marketing, I mean, we talk about it. You gotta give it to the people like they are second grader in that term. No big words, and even in sales, you gotta express yourself in very elementary level thing.
Simple.
Because confused mind
say no.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, if you go to the marketplace or wherever, that's why there's, for example, Cheetos. Everybody knows what Cheetos is, and Cheetos is where? In the middle shelf. Mm-hmm. They're not in the top shelf. They branded themselves and positioned themselves in the market. that they've earned a spot in the
Eye level.
eye level and grab level. See, that's basically what we're trying to achieve when we say confused minds say no. You want to make it simple to where it's right here, grab. And I love how John says it. I want to put the cookies in the middle shelf so you can grab them.
Yeah.
Don't put them up here, brother.
Don't put them up there.
Don't put them up here. Put them in the middle aisle so I can grab them. So again, if you're providing a service or product, make it simple and clear so that the viewer, your audience knows, hey, this is what I want them to get. This is what I want. This is the value that I have for them, and then they can grab it.
Yeah, I mean, that term is true in so much. I mean, probably in life. Like we have a furniture store, and we always talk about it. Well, people don't. Of course, people might think, hey, Exclusive Furniture sells furniture. That's all they think. Like we sell mattresses too. We have big mattress shops inside our store. A lot of people, customers, because it doesn't say Exclusive Furniture and mattresses, they just assume we sell furniture.
Yeah.
So and we always talk about it. If you don't tell the customer, they just assume you don't sell mattresses.
Right.
I've been in business for 23 years.
Wow.
Okay. And you don't understand how many times have I heard people say, well, we didn't know you sold mattresses. Well, if you walk, and they'll walk right in front of the mattresses and not think that we sell mattresses.
Yeah.
So that is very true. You got it. People, first of all, you got to present it. You got to present it in very elementary method and make it easy. And that's why Amazon is doing so great, right? One click to buy.
That's it. So that's another thing is because we're such in a saturated technical social media environment. We were talking earlier even from a video. If it's longer than a minute, I'm on my phone, brother. And so you're right. We have to make it short, simple, and in training, I do training development as well. And so in training, they have this this acronym called KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do. We need to keep it simple. Otherwise, you lose the opportunity of the value which you have to present. And if you have value, present in a way that's not only marketable, but people will say, hey, tell me more.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mark, then you go, going back to your journey, you go back to school, you start working for the OSHA, you got this company that is force multiplier, and then you figure out that, hey, this name is, you get challenged by somebody one day at lunch. And then what did you think all of a sudden once you got challenged?
Again, I was like, here we go again. and if I could just pivot just a little bit for the listeners, if you haven't been challenged lately, something's wrong. Because if you want to make it happen, you have to be challenged. You cannot elevate your performance unless you're being challenged. Now,
some people take challenge wrong. And offensive.
And I'll say this, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. For you.
Yeah.
So, what do you mean, Mark? It's happening for you you can reflect. So you can go back and say, okay, what am I missing? What do I need to add? What do I need to change? See, that's the high performance mindset.
But more than less, sometimes when you get challenged, and you can get challenged by your colleague, your partner, your spouse, or your boss, and like, hey, you're not doing this, and you just get in the shell, you get your feelings hurt.
Yeah. And
why did he tell me I'm not doing this?
Right.
Why did she tell me that I'm not doing this?
Yeah.
Why did my partner tell me something is wrong with me or I'm not doing my job?
Right.
We get so offended instead of explore. Yeah, we get yes, of course.
So we become guarded.
We get guarded,
right? We become guarded. As an EMT, I'm going back to that. You get hit in the gut, and what do?
Yeah,
you roll up like a little baby, man. You guarded, and that's what we.
So how, as a human being, can we not
be guarded?
Be guarded, or how can we not say, hey, it's happening for me, not to me, or how can we understand as a person, as an individual, that sometimes to grow, we got to get challenged.
Yes.
How do we do that?
I love that. I love the question. So that goes from, instead of having a goal mindset, a growth mindset. Now, some of you are saying, like, what do you mean? We have to have a goals. Yeah. But if the goal is the ultimate goal and growth isn't, what are you going to do? You're going to be upset every time you're challenged.
Uh-huh.
Growth says, hey, consider this. Growth says option B. Growth says turn right. Growth says slow down. See, if we have a growth mindset, it's happening for me. But if I'm all about the objective is that and there's no other way, see, I'm limiting myself to options, aren't I?
Yeah.
I'm limiting myself to options and allowing others to come into my life and help sharpen me. And I'll be honest, for those individuals who become upset, hey man, you cannot get to second with both feet on first.
Yeah. But then, Mark, a lot of times we get upset because now someone is telling us to do something more. Or be uncomfortable. We just get stuck in this easy place, right?
We become familiar and comfortable.
Become familiar and like, okay, well, why do I want to do a little more? You know, we tell this to ourselves. That's where it goes with the 3 questions. 1 to 5.
Yes.
You know, who am I doing it for?
Yes.
What is my number 1 to 5? And am I giving the number 5? And but sometimes, you know, that's why we get upset, because we don't want to give that A performance, or we don't want to give that 5 performance. We want to be stuck in 2.
Yes.
And if nobody and we want to be like nobody's looking, or we want to say, I don't want to work, I don't want to break my back for them, I don't want to kill myself for them. And most of the time we think that we are talking about our partner, our company, our team, the company we work for, my boss. I don't want to kill myself for them. We are not seeing that we are working. I mean, I'm not progressing as a individual,
right?
As a human being,
right?
And I'm not giving my best,
my full,
my full potential,
my full. See, we want to be full, but we don't give full. The word integrity comes from the root word integer, a mathematical term meaning whole. Now, gosh, this is good. Because think about this for just a second. How many days do I end up being not whole? Meaning that if I gave my all, I can rest my head knowing, hey, I gave full. See, reciprocity says if I give, what happens?
I receive.
That's the rule of reciprocity. It's not my job to say, hey, well, I gave and I didn't. No. I have yet to meet the farmer, Sam, who says, oh my gosh, I got to sow again. No, he says, if I want some corn, I'm going to go plant some freaking corn. Boom, 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 boom. I keep planting, knowing I'm going to get. And so if we live with that mindset that every day, I love what John Wooden, make every day, not just Friday. Make every day your masterpiece. Oh my gosh, happy day touchdown. You wake up every morning knowing, hey, I get to breathe. I get to breathe because, hey, today is a good day. I'm going to meet somebody that I can help, I can serve, I can add value. See, that's the growth mindset.
But how do we solve this problem? Because sometimes there's a lot of individual, and most of us, and I mean, if we can just talking about it can help one, then we've done our job, right? Sometimes we say, hey, it's Monday. I'm going to go kill it.
Yeah.
And people do that.
Yeah.
Go kill it on Monday.
Yeah.
And then I go kill it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I give my 100%.
Right.
Oh my God, man. It's Wednesday, man. When am I going to get a raise, man?
Yeah.
And you know, some of us want, you know, we sow it twice or we sow it 3 times. And we're already expecting the harvest to reap.
And it's only Tuesday.
But we don't give 100%. We only give those 2 days.
Right.
And then the 3 days we feel sorry for ourselves. You know, and there's another thing. And I feel like we feel sorry for ourselves or we feel mad because of ego and pride. What do you have to say about that?
Wow. Man, that's a whole nother show right there. But ego, I love that because in ego, I've coined ego in an acronym, edging the good out. Because see, when I have ego in me, I'm edging the good out in everybody else because I'm better, I'm more. See, I just stood up just a little bit higher in my seat if you didn't realize that. Why? Because ego does that, doesn't it? And I can't see nobody else but me. And so what happens is we need to, every single day, ask ourselves, hey, did I serve today at my highest? And I'll be honest, those days, bro, ask my wife. Mark messes up too. But just like the heartbeat that goes up and down, you can have days that are low, days that are high. But thank God that they're going up and down, because that means we still have the opportunity to be able to serve every day. Because if it was flatline, oh my gosh, there's a different story.
So every day we need to give our, try to give the best, because we are going to get some lows.
Oh yeah.
We just got to pick ourselves up and go get it best.
That's right.
And ego, yeah, you're right. Ego kills dreams. Ego kills a lot of things. And I mean, if we are in a group of people, let's say 30 people, or we work in an office of 20, 30, whatever, or we play in a team of 11, 12, 15 people, we need to sometimes humble ourselves and not edge ourselves. That's what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because that means that I'm better and nobody else matters. Is that
That's
what,
right. That's right.
Did I hear that right?
That's right. That's right. So
level yourself.
Level yourself. So that goes back to the question of 1 to 5, and you can even ask yourself on a level of humility. See, you could use that 1 to 5 in any aspect. Oh, but that's a powerful question, isn't it, Sam? On a level of 1 to 5, what is my humility check right now? Whew. Am I a 1? Does my wife deserve a 2 in humility? Does my team deserve a 2 in humility? And it's powerful, because when we do that, we are self-reflecting and checking ourselves and amping up to level up. And that's how we can make it happen for ourselves. And when we make it happen for ourselves, guess what happens? That transitions, we make it happen for everybody else as well.
Everybody else.
We become what? A model. And I think it's very important, even in today's time, that we model that. I mean, gosh, don't we need some models today?
Absolutely. So, Mark, going back towards you, and I mean, man, some of the stuff you're saying is powerful, and we can sit over here and talk for hours, right? About stuff like that. So you co-authored 2 books in 2017.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about those.
So it's amazing. I'll be honest. I never saw myself as a speaker, trainer, coach, author. And the reason for that, see, the brain, anytime you have a little bit level of success, there's a little voice in the back of your head saying, what are you doing, right? What are you doing? Going back to that same question. You're not good enough. And we were in Guatemala, and one of the faculty members, he reached across and we were having lunch. It's amazing, man. Lunch does amazing things. We were having lunch and he said, hey, Mark, there's 2 books you should always have with you. The book you're writing and the book you're reading. I didn't have either. I didn't have no books. And I said, what do you mean, man? He asked me again, Mark, so how's your book coming? Isn't it amazing? It's almost the same type of questions as Don Oliver, huh? What are you doing here? Different type of questions, but basically the same again. See, I've been with the John Maxwell team for almost 3 years. We're in Guatemala, we're training. I thought I arrived, huh? Don't get comfortable. You never arrive. And so he asked me again, and then I said, I'm not an author. What did the brain do? The brain went to my grandmother, who was born in Mexico, doesn't read and write, who didn't know how to sign her name. She signed her name with an X. My mother, who only went to 3rd grade. You see what it does? It takes you back what you couldn't do or what you can't do. He said, come here. Almost like Don Oliver. He said, come here, Mark. I'm going to tell you the truth. He didn't say it. Let me just tell you something. He says, I guarantee you, my first ugly book is better than your unwritten book.
My first ugly book is better than your unwritten book. Of course it is. He wrote one.
Now, again, for those who do not like to be challenged, truth comes along beside you in a time that says, hey, you're comfortable. You're comfortable. And I looked at him and I said, you're right. So 2017, I reached out to 2 different people. I actually co-authored them, and I knocked them out on a weekend. In 2017, we went out to San Antonio with my brother-in-law. I knocked them out on a weekend. I honestly, to this day, do not know how. You ever been in a flow?
Yeah. I have.
You sit in a room
And you just start writing.
and you just start writing. You write from the heart, not from the head. I love how Les Brown said. Les Brown says, "Get out of your head and get into your heart." You know, and so what I mean by that is you don't speak from the head, you don't write from the head. You speak from the heart and you write from the heart, and that's how I was able to publish those 2 books. And I'm working on another one right now. Because my tagline for the company is "Lead yourself and multiply others."
Lead yourself and multiply
Others.
others.
So it's 5 ways to lead yourself and 5 ways to multiply others.
That's awesome. So the business, so the book that you co-authored are Business Leader Success and A Bigger Purpose.
Yes.
If you don't mind, tell us a little bit about each book, if you don't mind. Let's
The
go
business was
leaders.
from a business perspective, and the purpose book is from a faith-based perspective. And I gave my kind of story from a business perspective. And then the other one, I share my story about Donald because I wanted to honor him. And I did that, and I've received a lot of amazing feedback. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to take that and build off that on leadership principles using the scaffold. Because in construction, the Hispanics, we represent almost 34% of the entire workforce. There's a lot of us.
You say you want to honor Don Oliver, and you told me before the show that there was a time that you were speaking, and his daughter or granddaughter was in the room.
So there was an opportunity for me to speak, and afterwards, somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, Mark, you were talking about Don Oliver. Did at the time were you guys working here at this place?" And I said, "Yeah." "Was he this height and green eyes, hazel green eyes?" And I said, "Yeah." And it was his daughter, and I really didn't know at the time. Again, you never know, right? You never know. And it was humbling. At the same time, she said, "That's how he was. That's how he is." And he's been passed away for some time now. But I had the opportunity not only to meet her, but honor him in that book. And it was an amazing opportunity because, again, reciprocity, huh? And if anything that you remember, please remember that when you sow into potential, it always comes back. It always comes back.
Reciprocity is one of the principles that I totally believe in. Because I always tell this to people, and I mean, I have a business, but before business, I'm a sales organization. I mean, I love, because I grew my business by selling, right? Selling furniture, selling everything I can. And I always tell people that when reciprocity is not only in selling, reciprocity is in life. When if I tell you, "Man, that's a great suit," what do you say?
Thank you.
And now what do you feel obligated to do? To either say something to me nice or do something nice.
Do something nice.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay. I mean, when I give you a cup of coffee or something, and you drink that, what do you feel like doing? You gotta, like, you owe me something.
Yes.
And I mean, reciprocity is, in my opinion,
Powerful.
It's powerful because you don't do things for people expecting a return.
Right.
Just do it.
Right.
And
Right.
let them
Yes.
feel responsible
Yes.
to give it back to you.
That's the powerful part of the principle that I think is not understood and lacking. Zig Ziglar, the most powerful salesman, he can sell dirt in Egypt.
Yeah.
He said, if you help enough people get what they want,
Yes.
you eventually get what you want. That's reciprocity, brother.
Yeah.
101. It's not give to get, it's give because you can.
That's it. And that's what I tell everybody. I'm like, you do it when my morning meetings, we always talk about, I'm like, treat them so good
That's right.
that when they leave you, they'll miss you.
That's right. That's right.
Not everybody will buy from you.
Yes.
Because if you say you're gonna sell it to everybody, then you might disappoint yourself.
That's right.
But treat them so good
Yes.
that when they leave you, they'll miss you.
Yes.
And that's my motto. That's how I grew my business. When you come to me, I treat you like you're my family. Like you are the only person that matters.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy from me.
That's right.
But when you leave me,
You create an experience that says, I value you.
when you leave me, you'll miss me.
You miss me. And you always have me on my mind, even though I'm not sure you sell mattresses.
Right. But you know what, Mark, going back to sales, it's the crazy thing, right? When we sell somebody something,
Yes.
okay, we know everything about them.
Mm-hmm.
We create a connection,
Right.
right? We know their name, we know their mother's name,
Right.
we know where they live at, how many kids they have, where they work at, what they do for fun.
Right.
We know everything about them. But how many sales do we ever make and we don't even know their name?
You don't even know their name.
You know why? Because we didn't get a time.
Yes.
We didn't take the time to get to know them, Mark.
The connection. So you're married.
Yes.
How many years?
20-some years.
Oh my gosh. Awesome. Awesome. We just completed 31 years.
Oh, congratulations.
On the 36th. And I guarantee you, we as men and those listening, we as men did some crazy stuff to get a yes. And that's sales. Why? There's a product you sell or a service you provide. That's it. That's it. And so if we realize it's all about connections, relationships is really the only capital that while you invest in has an amazing return.
Yeah.
Why? Because you don't realize if you invest in me, that little could be created in a huge amount of success or connections or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what we do is we say, oh, because when I invested before, they didn't do it. So why should I invest now?
You can't stop doing that for that reason.
That's right. The corn's got to grow.
The corn's got to grow.
The corn's got to grow.
And we got to make sure that we sow it every day
That's right.
before the harvest comes out.
That's right.
I love that, Mark. Hey, Mark, we can sit over here and talk forever, man. Talk forever.
It's a good stuff.
I think I'll have to get you to come back again one more time. But I want to be respectful of your time, and I know you've been over here for a while. Before we end this interview, okay, I ask all my guests to do one thing for me. And if today was the last day on earth for you, you get to live 100 years. You're all, but somehow all the books that you wrote are gone. All the YouTube videos, all the podcasts, all the articles you ever wrote, they're all gone. And today's the day you go get to meet with your creator. And they say, hey, Mark, before you go, this is a pen and there's a paper. Write 3 things in there. The 3 truths, 3 things, 3 keys to greatness. 3 things you want to share with the future world, your future generation, and maybe your future great grandkids. You're going to take this thing and you're going to write 3 things on this paper. What is it going to be?
Wow.
And this can be about anything. How to live life, how to treat others, what to do in life, anything.
I hope those listening took those 3 questions and you're doing that as well. Man, see, that's a powerful reflection question, Sam. Because there's a day you're born, a day you die, for all of us. It's just a little dash, isn't it? That little dash is freaking little, but
Yeah.
we all have the dash.
Between your birth and your death.
Love fully, number 1.
Love fully. Okay. Want to expand on it a little bit?
So those who have sons, daughters, mothers, wife, love them fully. Friends, fully. Meaning that at the end of the day, getting a like is cool. Getting some applause is cool. But it's those who are at the home that you need to love fully and know that know that they know they're loved fully. Serve even when it hurts.
Number 2, serve you when it hurts.
Serve even when it hurts.
Serve even when it hurts.
Because you're gonna get hurt. You're going to. But when you serve, you're serving. And remember, we talked about integrity, whole. You can know that you can rest knowing that, hey, I'm whole. I'm good.
I did a good job.
I did a good job. I did that. And the last is, I'm going to steal this from John Wooden. Make every day your masterpiece.
Make every day your masterpiece.
Because we're making something. Trust me. It's not a home. It's not your 401k, although we need all that. And again, I get that. But when you truly make every day your masterpiece and then help others create their own masterpiece, that's a beautiful portrait. Think about that. When you and I, Sam, and your team, we take brushes and we say, let's make it happen together. Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. See, that's artwork. That's just not, that's artwork, right?
Masterpiece.
And then someday, whenever that day comes, they can sit down on all these 3 questions and say, you know what? Sam made an amazing impact. Mark made an amazing impact. They did this. And they can talk about how we made them feel. They're not going to be talking about the salad. They're not going to be talking about the mashed potatoes. Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, what you did, but never how you made them feel. And thank you so much for the opportunity today, because I feel full. I feel full.
Well, I appreciate you coming over here, Mark, and thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your good words, and your knowledge with us. So and I hope to get you back again soon once you have written your next book. And what is going to be the name of that book? Have you come up with it?
Multiply Others.
Multiply Others. Okay. Yeah. So what is it? Grow yourself.
So my tagline is lead yourself and multiply others. The book is Multiply Others.
Awesome.
10 principles on how to lead and multiply others.
Well, definitely. I would love to get you back over here. Mark, if someone wants to find you, where can they find you at? Are you on social media? LinkedIn? Yes. You have a website? Tell us a little bit about it.
So on LinkedIn and on Twitter, you can find me at Mark A. Speaks, or you can go to my website, www.markspeaks.co, markspeaks.co.
Okay, so Mark, M-A-R-K, Speaks, S-P-E-A-K-S.co, C-O. Okay, or LinkedIn, you're on Mark
A. Speaks. On Twitter, Mark A. Speaks.
Okay. Are you Facebook, Instagram, or you
Facebook? Yeah, Facebook, same thing, Mark A. Speaks.
Mark A. Speaks. So Mark A. Speaks on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or Mark, tell me again your website.
www.markspeaks.co.
Now, Mark, if someone wants to book you to speak, you do all that for offices, office management, for companies, all that stuff. Listen, guys, I hope you enjoyed this interview with Mark Speaks, Mark Hernandez. He's the man. We learned a lot over here with him. If you need somebody to speak with him, I'll definitely recommend Mark Hernandez to you. Mark, thank you so much for coming over here. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, brother. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.